right, ladies and gentlemen, just a friendly reminder. You don't have anything due until Monday for me. Okay? So today we're obviously doing a lecture. Today we're doing a lecture. Tomorrow we're doing a map. What a nice way to start the weekend. No? We don't? Yeah, I mean, if I was doing a primary source, we really have to think. What do you got for me? Yes, sir. No map quizzes. But you still have a map every single week because it's a good way for me to introduce things going forward. Especially like this week, we're going to talk a little bit about the Silk Road. We're going to talk about how that moves, the shape of it, and stuff like that. What parts are really controlled by empires, so you can kind of see where they're getting stuff. Lucy. Lucy, look at my board, my sweet girl. Monday, Lucy, is your first vocab quiz. Now, we are in a normal schedule now, except you'll never have a lecture on a Thursday because what are you going to always be doing on a Thursday? Test. Since you had no test for week 1, that's why we're starting our lecture today. Okay, so you have an extra lecture in here that you will never have again, so I hope you enjoy it. Don't worry, I'm going to make you all cringe by the time you leave, so it'll be great. Tomorrow we're doing a map. Monday, you have vocab 1 through 10. We're doing our primary. Tuesday, vocab 11 through 20 in a lecture. Wednesday, vocab 21 through 30 in a lecture. And of course, on Thursday is best day of the week. Okay? 25 questions, all multiple choice. You'll have the whole period to complete it. Your focus, your map, and your primary due on Thursday. Okay? So hopefully you started working. Making moves. Here we go. Where are you going? Where are you going? Ooh, all right. See, Miles. 4, you're going to jump into Miles' spot. Here we go. Okay, so starting on Thursday, you have a test. It'll be this pattern for the rest of your life. Sounds good? Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to write week 2 at the top of our notes. Okay, we are in week 2. Ford, if you want to stay there for the rest of the day, it's going to feel like easier. Or you can jump, whatever you like. That way you're not like blind. You do look like the chosen one. You know what I mean? Like dark signs specifically on you. That's kind of a cool look. China is where we're going specifically. Song China. So your heading is Song China. See you, Miles.
His name is Mason.
Mason, shit. Shit. Thank you for telling me. Sorry, Mason! Shit.
He thinks you were doing it on purpose.
He does?
Probably.
Oh, are you just making this up right now?
No, his name is actually Mason.
No, I know
They
that.
were bullying him.
Oh my God, no, I'm not bullying the kid. I have 172 new kids. I'm trying really hard. Oh, I hate you. All of you. And bullying. Oh. Song China. Okay, you need to know Song China is going to use a centralized imperial bureaucracy. You are writing that down. Song China uses a centralized imperial bureaucracy. If they use it, did they make it?
No.
No, it's actually created by the Han, but you don't need to know that because, keep in mind, look at me for 2 seconds, okay? You are supposed to have previously taken AP World Ancient, okay? You're supposed to take that class because we are technically AP World Modern. So, especially this week, because this is your first real week of content, there's a lot of stuff that you kind of just don't know, which is fine, but it doesn't give us a frame of reference that you should kind of have. Does that make sense? Now, have faith. I'm going to build you a bridge and get you where you need to be, but you have to understand, especially in these first 5 weeks, I'm just going to tell you something, you just got to kind of own it, yeah? Okay? So, the Song Dynasty are going to use centralized imperial bureaucracy, which is what you already wrote down, which means they did not create it. Everyone's clear on that. They are going to add, don't write this down, something new, which you have to know is a unique thing of the song. Do we see what I'm doing here? I'm telling you something that they continued, and you have to know what they did originally, what's their new invention, okay? Centralized imperial bureaucracy. Underline it, circle it, do something with it. You need to know that term. We're starting in our notes. Label it week 2, please. Okay. Centralized imperial bureaucracy is a government. Is a government that is based entirely on the emperor's demands. Is a government based entirely on the emperor's demands, who then tells its bureaucrats what to do. Okay, let's talk a little bit of mechanisms. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're a low-level Chinese government official, do you think the Emperor of China is writing you a personalized letter to tell you what you should be doing that day? No. Okay? He's not. There's a protocol. He has a boss, who 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 eventually will be the emperor. How is a centralized imperial bureaucracy different from our government? What do you got? What do you got, Donna?
It's not a democracy.
It's not a democracy, so we have elected officials. They have people who've taken the test. We'll get to that. Fine. Ella?
There's no checks and balances over each other.
Fine, because everything is based on the emperor. We don't have an emperor. They do. It is one chain of command. Here in our government, in the United States, we have 3. We have 3 branches of government, and they all have a ton of power, yes? We have Joe Biden right now as president. He might get reelected. Doesn't look like it's going to happen, right? Because his numbers are super low. But hey, crazy things have happened. Who knows? He's either going to get voted in again for a second term or voted out. Does he get to do whatever he wants? No, he's had actually very little victory in this office. He really only has 4 successful true victories in his, 3 years in office so far? Not great numbers, okay? There's a lot of things happening in our government. Supreme Court has a ton of influence, yeah? They just overturned Roe v. Wade, which was seen as a super precedent. Super precedent means they didn't think it could be touched. Guess what the Supreme Court did? They touched it. So now everything court decision the Supreme Court has made in our 200 and something years is now on the table to be changed. Is that a big deal? Yeah, that's a huge deal. Our legislative branch, whether you're Democrat or Republican, have all stomped their foot in the ground to stop progress from happening. Can we agree? Under Donald Trump, all the Democrats were saying, hell no, we're not passing anything, yeah? Right? Now that we're under Biden, who's saying hell no? Republicans. So very little got done under Trump, very little is getting done by Biden. They all have huge influences. So us, the population, how are we doing? We just see 3 branches of government kind of like picking on each other, fighting with each other, all this stuff. Good things have happened, bad things have happened, depending on what side you are. Everyone's had some good things and some bad things happen. We have 3 branches of government. Imperial bureaucracy is, that's the big difference between, so keep that in mind. When we're talking about centralized imperial bureaucracy, it is all based on the scholar gentry, write it down, implementing the wills of the emperor. It is all based on the scholar gentry implementing the will of the emperor. Okay? So, one person's making all the decisions that impact every single citizen in there. Okay. Now, when we talk about a scholar gentry, we'll get to them. You need to know for China, it's a meritocracy, which is right here. Meritocracy. What do you think a meritocracy is, Nina? What word in meritocracy should you know, Nina? Okay, so that means government structure. Fine. What word should you know? What do we got? Tell me something, Will. What does merit mean? Yeah. Is it a positive thing or a bad thing? It's positive. Merit means something you've earned, ladies and gentlemen. A meritocracy means governments are filled with people who've earned their spot. Okay? What is the opposite of a meritocracy? What do you got? Cyrus?
Democracy?
No. No.
Dictatorship.
No. No. Lucy? No. What do you got? Andres?
When it's like passed down through bloodline.
Okay, that's more of like the aristocracy. It's nepotism would be the opposite. Nepotism is like you come in power and you put all of your friends in positions even though they have no idea what they're doing. Does that happen here in the United States? Oh yeah, we got nepotism here in the United States for sure. In every single presidential, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican, they put their friends or donors into positions of power. You pay enough money, you get to be a secretary of something. Is that always a great look? It's not a great look. So does that mean we have the most high functioning government possible? No, but is it how it works here in the United States? Yeah. Now, is that all the time? No, it's not all the time. However, does it happen? Absolutely. Of course it does. Like for instance, Secretary Pete, okay? He's in charge of transportation and all that stuff. The reason why he got his transportation post in Biden's cabinet right now is because he was the biggest rival to Biden during the primary for president. Biden said, if you step down now, I'll give you a spot as a secretary. So what did Mayor Pete do? He stepped down from the race, and now where is he? Yeah, it's technically nepotism. Now, is he a Rhodes Scholar? Is he doing a pretty good job? Yes, he's actually the highest rated person in Biden's administration. People like him more than anyone else. But does that happen in every single presidential cabinet? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Know that. That's examples of nepotism. Okay? Now, what we have in China is a meritocracy. You have to earn your spot. Okay? How you earn your spot, you need to write this down, is the civil service exam. The civil service exam. Every government employee has to pass this test. Civil service exam. Every government employee has to take this test to get a job. Okay? So, you only get a job if you pass this test. Is there any equivalent to here in the United States? No. If you're born here, you don't have to take it. I was born here. I was born in Boston, Massachusetts.
Don't we have to take for the Florida colleges, we have to take the civil service exam to, we have to take the citizenship exam?
Not for Florida college, not all of them. And that we're looking big picture, not just. What do you got?
Like campaign,
Campaign?
like the way they run, like they have to like make the people of the U.S.
Yeah. So do you have to take a test? Do these people have to have any type of formal education? No. Anyone can literally run for office. Literally anyone. Okay. There's no educational requirements. Now, if you didn't graduate high school, are you likely to get other people to vote for you in a large way to make an impact in your local politics? Probably not. Okay. But there's no limitations. What do you got?
Has it ever like stopped someone from being in office?
What?
The civil.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Now let's keep in mind, if you're from a wealthy family in China, can you pay the best tutors in the world to teach you what you need to know? Absolutely. So do the wealthy get the benefit? For sure. Don't you dare think the world is equal. There's still a little bit of nepotism, but you still have to pass the damn test. And we know through history they've caught thousands and thousands of cheaters taking the test. People take the test for other people. Well, it's just like the SAT today, okay? What I am telling you though is it is a universal thing to get in. There's obviously, it favors the wealthy. We see that still here. But we don't have those types of basics here, so keep that in mind. Okay, the civil service exams earns you a spot in the scholar gentry. Write it down. Civil service exam earns you a spot in the scholar gentry. The scholar gentry are the most educated people in China as well as government employees. So, by taking the civil service exam, to the wealthiest class. Now, if you're taking that civil service exam, most people are already born into wealthy families. However, every once in a while you do get a poor kid from the middle of nowhere, China, who teaches himself how to read, reads a bunch of books, takes the test, passes, and improves the lives of his family. So there is that option. How often do you think that happens? Not that much, but there you go. What do you got, Jade? And the Chinese government. Okay, here we go. Your next thing is innovations, your next heading. Okay, so these are the things the Song Dynasty actually creates. They did not create a centralized imperial bureaucracy, but they are going to create these things. They do the Grand Canal. Okay. Grand Canal is going to connect North and South China, because what's going east and west? The river's already going east and west. It's going to connect north and south. Anytime you think about China, you typically see like this beautiful woman on a bridge with an umbrella. Yes? Huge archways. Yes? Hello? That's the Grand Canal. Some of the most famous images are coming from there. Okay? It is going to increase. Write this down next to the Grand Canal. It is going to increase intra-regional trade. It's right here. Regional trade. That is a key term that you have to know. Intra-regional trade means what? What does it mean, Bella? Trade within your own region. Yeah. So right now, when we're talking about the Grand Canal, it's going to increase trade where?
In China.
Thank you, Bella.
Oh, sorry.
You're fine. Yes, it's going to increase trade in China only. If it is inter-regional, it means what, Micah? Nope. Help me out. What do you think, Maggie? Yes, different regions. Inter, it means outside the region. Okay, so it would be the Silk Road is an inter-regional trade route. It's connecting East Asia to Europe. Okay, those are two different regions. Your Indian Ocean Basin is connecting Africa, West Africa, to South Asia and China. Multiple regions. Grand Canal is intra-regional, which means it only increases East Asia trade. Yes? Perfect. All right. Steel and iron are discovered by the Song. It's not 100% true because it's really the Qin, but we'll ignore that. AP wants you to think it's them, so we'll tell you it's them. Okay? So they are going to increase the dispersion of them. Okay. What you need to know about them is, number one, it is going to be used for farming tools first. So if you have better tools, you have more better food, more food sources. Keep that in mind. Okay, next big thing is champa rice. You need to put a big star. This is going to be one of your favorite things to say to me because it's an answer to a lot of things. And we're going to talk about why. Champa rice, you need to write this down, is from Vietnam. That's its origin, is Vietnam. So why did the Song have it if it's in Vietnam? Yeah, they expanded. They conquered the territory. And instead of staying in just China, they spread to Vietnam, and that's how we get. Okay. It is because champa rice has two crips. Crips, C-R-I-P-S, a year. What do you think a crip is, Reese? 2 crips a year. It's rice. What do you think it is?
Like what types of harvests?
Yeah, it's 2 harvests a year. Excellent. Perfect. That's exactly it. It's 2 harvests a year. So instead of 1 harvest, they get 2. There's 3 things you have to know about its importance. Here we go. The first thing, it's going to increase the population because food sources are going up. Write that down. You need to know. Every time food goes up, population goes up. Increases food, increases population. Okay? It It is going to, second thing you need to know, it is going to allow farmers to leave farming. Why? Let's pause there. Why do farmers get to leave? Why do they get to leave, Haley?
Because they're making more food they don't need as many farmers.
Yep, perfect. Yes, perfectly said. Yes, there's so much food, not everyone needs to farm anymore. So Haley, if you don't have to farm anymore, what are you gonna do? You're gonna become a? Okay, but what would be a broad title for any other job? That's a very specific title.
Oh, sorry.
Broad. Huh?
Furniture?
Craftsman! Craftsman would carry all of those things. So, second thing you need to know about Champa rice, ladies and gentlemen. There's so much food people don't have to farm and they become craftsmen. This is the first place in the world where people in large scale can leave. Third thing you need to know, because there's huge population that becomes craftsmen, China becomes a destination for what? Trade. Why? Because it has plenty of. Guys, we don't go places for food. We grow food where we are. For goods! Yes! Third thing you need to understand about Champa rice. Because people don't need to farm, they become craftsmen. Because they become craftsmen, they make crafts. Those crafts need to be sold, so all of a sudden the markets in China are huge. There's tons of items that aren't made anywhere else except in China because no one else has that large of a population just making crafts. So it makes China become the destination of the whole world because it's the only place you can find certain goods. And what are some of these certain luxury goods? Give me a luxury good that is only found in China. What do you got for me, Penelope? China. You're breaking my heart. Help me, Giselle. Silk.
It was on the tip of my tongue. I would say that.
Silk. Okay, silk is one of the luxury items, ladies and gentlemen. That is created by the Han. Okay. Another luxury item is what, Mr. Baker?
Porcelain.
Porcelain. And what is our nickname for porcelain here in the States, Mr. Baker? Dude, what do you put on your table for fancy holidays?
Wall.
China. You put China on your table. Why do we call it China? Why do we call it China? Because it comes from China. It's really porcelain. No one says, put the porcelain out. It's called China because it's fine porcelain that is only made in, which is why we say put the, you never thought about it? Yeah, it's porcelain. They have the finest porcelain in the world, okay? And spices. Spices. They've got a lot of spices. Cinnamon comes from China and India, okay? Which we'll get to the difference of spices in these locations. Okay. Put a big star. Champa rice makes China the trading destination of the world. Because Champa rice increased the population, people in China started making crafts, and they had to make different crafts because you can't sell the same thing as the person next door. You're not going to sell anything. It makes a huge, diverse marketplace where people all around the world want its goods. That's the reason why we're here. Christopher Columbus wasn't trying to discover America. He was trying to get to? Yeah, guys, that's the whole reason why we're here. What do you got?
I just have a question.
Sure.
Why did China close its borders later on?
Oh, that's because mismanagement and the Mongols suck. Yeah, that's just chaos later. Of course. Yeah, we're week 2.
I know, I was like,
Andres. Are you okay?
Yeah. There's a stretch.
I don't think we all needed to live your stress though. That was very jarring for a lot of us here. Okay, here we go. You need to know luxury goods perfect. Okay. Confucianism is your next heading. Okay, so the Song are going to implement Confucianism as a belief system. You need to Confucianism to complement their bureaucracy. The song, you're going to implement Confucianism to complement their bureaucracy. Okay, put a big star, that's a big deal. The song I want us to do. Okay. Confucianism, so underneath that, right, Confucianism. A couple things you need to know about Confucianism. First of all, it is founded by a guy named Confucius, which is right here. That's how you spell his name, Confucius. His other name is, look at you. What?
F-U-Z-I?
Yeah, F-U-Z-I, Confucius.
I thought that said with F-U-E-I.
I enjoy you so much. Okay, so, well, if you don't like it, write down whatever you want, and I do me. Yes! Okay, so, Confucius. Okay, he becomes known as Confucius. He writes a book called The Analects. That's it, that's it. Okay, it's a belief system. Make sure you underline belief system, because it is not there is no God. It's a way of thinking about life. Okay, what you need to know about it. Confucius, you write this down, wanders around China. That's the whole thing. He wanders around China. Talks about how great the government is. Okay? Why did the song like it? It's promoting the government. Yes, that's why they like it. It's propaganda. The song uses it as propaganda for the government. Do we use propaganda for our government? Yes, absolutely. We call ourselves the freest nation in the world. Are we? No, we have more people in jail than any other country in the world. It's kind of, a little disheartening. Okay? So, when we talk about those types of things, we use propaganda as well for us to buy into our government. They're using Confucianism for people to buy into their government. A couple of things you do need to know about Confucianism. It's all about filial piety. Write that down. You need to know that term. It comes up over and over again. Right there. That way, Emily doesn't have to talk crap about my handwriting. Right, Emily? Mm-hmm. Okay. Filial piety is... Actually, does anyone know what it is? Last class someone knew. So, pretty excited about it. All right, what do you got, Christian?
Just like people worship not worship, but like they care about their ancestors.
Okay, yes, yes. You're not wrong, Christian, but we're going to clean it up. Filial piety is the belief that your ancestors, so people who are related to you that are dead, those are your ancestors, have a direct role on your present life. So if your grandfather is dead, he's above you, sending you good vibes and making your daily life better. Does that make sense? That's a very rough, simplistic, of course, but version of it. That your ancestors have a direct role in your everyday life. Second thing you need to know about it is the belief in an elder system, that families are based by the oldest man. It's an elder system run by the oldest man. That's what I would write down. Yes, Miss Ross. What can I do?
Oh, I was just like in the book it was like that it's your duty to tell your belief, to give your desires to
Yeah, you have to go. Hello, have we seen Mulan? I love Mulan. She's going, this is like scene 1, open scene, Milan. She's in praying to her ancestor. She's lighting incense, and she says, please help me not mess up meeting the matchmaker. You have to put the effort in and stuff like that. I am in no way telling you that Mulan is a perfect representation of filial piety, but it is something that you may have a memory of that I can kind of trigger on, yes? So don't go home and say, Miss Bennett said Mulan. If her song, it's actually not the song, it's actually Mahan, okay? So, okay. Now I've got Mulan in my head. I'm so excited to love Mulan. Here we go. Filial piety, you need to know it is based on men, the oldest man in the family runs it. You need to know it's based on 6 relationships. That your life is based on 6 relationships. It's also very patriarchal. But we'll get to patriarchy here in a second. Okay. In China, Confucianism is still incredibly influential today. It is still a major part of Chinese society and culture going through. Okay, we'll deal with all that stuff later. Okay. Social. Here we go. Your next subheading is social. Couple things you need to know about Song China in a social context. How people are interacting with each other. You need to know it has its social classes. Here we go. At the top, who is the most important person in China? Emperor. So at the top of the social tier, you have the emperor. Underneath it, you have the scholar gentry. Underneath them, you have the oh God, that's a big jump. No. You have the aristocracy or your wealthy landowners. Okay? Underneath them you have craftsmen or merchants, absolutely. And then finally, who's at the bottom? The farmers, the peasants, and all that stuff. This social structure is absolutely intact until 1911. In 1911, China goes crazy. Not crazy, but everything flips in China. We're going to have a ton of change. That is going to happen in 1911. Scholar gentry, you have aristocracy, then you have craftsmen and merchants, then you have peasants. Okay? So, is it worth learning the order? If we're going to have it until 1911? Yes. Okay. You need to know that China is the second most patriarchal society we'll study. Who is the first? Who do we think? Oh no. I mean, we got our own problems, girl. Don't you worry about it. But no, it is not America. What do you got for me, Sailor? Oh no. Europe's got its problems, but it's not that one. It's India. India is the most patriarchal society that we will study. China's number 2. Does that mean everyone else is doing an amazing job? No. We're just talking about the 2 worst. Don't worry. America will join the list. Europe, we'll be talking about that for quite some time. But we're just going to start with China, and then we'll go from there. Okay. First thing about China. You need social structure. Foot binding. We'll just start right with it again. Foot binding is a demonstration of class. What is foot binding? Oh yeah. Some people are reading. What do you got, Bella?
It was like, the men made these women like wear shoes.
Okay, it's not the men.
The women chose.
No, it's your mother.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, basically like broke their foot so it could be the perfect size.
Yes. Okay, so what would happen? What do you got? You seen Laura?
In China, it was seen that like smaller feet were more attractive, so they would like break
Yeah.
their feet into these like tiny shoes.
No, girl, they are literally smashing with a hammer and folding. Okay, so between the ages of 2 and 3, your fate would be decided, ladies. Okay, your value would be decided by the age of 2 or 3. Your mother would break your feet with a hammer. Okay, at the age of 2 or 3, and she would wrap it incredibly tight. And it would completely and utterly break your foot and ensure that your foot would never grow to a normal size. The ideal size is 3 to 3.5 inches. Write that down. Yeah, that's teeny tiny. Now, if your foot has been broken and bandaged in a certain way to make sure it'll never go back, how much walking can you do? Not a lot. Can you walk to the bathroom? You have to be carried to the bathroom. Or the bathroom comes to you and you sit on top of it on a couch. Okay? Now, what is the value of women? What is the value of women? Why were we valuable to our families? What was our role, Jay? Okay, yeah, birth it. Absolutely. We gotta produce the next generation, for sure. But what's the other big skill that we have? Sailor? Yeah, we can sell ourselves and you can make money off of your daughter. We don't sell ourselves, but our dads sell us. Who gives this bride to this man That is your father giving your wealth to another man. It goes from your dad to your husband when you use those words in your weddings, ladies. Those words were not in my wedding, okay? I'm not a goat. My ownership is not from my father to my now husband, okay? That was cut out of the wedding. Thank you, God. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, our value is because we can cook and clean the houses, right? That's why you want a wife, so they can cook and clean after you, right? Okay? So, if your daughter has a broken foot that's been wrapped to be 3 inches and cannot walk, what can she do? She can't cook and clean. So, if you don't need your daughter to cook and clean, it shows that you have plenty of foot binding. Shows wealth, ladies and gentlemen. If you had one daughter with foot binding, are you wealthy? Yeah, you're wealthy enough that you can afford one daughter not cooking and cleaning. If you had 5 daughters, all with foot binding, how wealthy are you? Stacks on stacks on stacks, right? So, it's a notion of wealth. Gentlemen, if you marry a woman with foot binding, it shows that what? That your family's wealthy, and so are you, because why?
You can afford to have someone who's fit.
Because you can afford to have someone do the cooking and cleaning for your wife. Yeah. It's also a sexual fetish, but we'll get to that. Goodbye.
Have a good day.
Oh, you as well.